In this video, we will explore the Chinese aviation market and the 4 Chinese jets that will rival Boeing and Airbus for the next century. Everything from small regional jets to lumbering aircraft to rival the Boeing 747 and Airbus A380. What are they? And what would they be like to fly? And why the Western worlds have noticed? Let's crack open this fortune cookie and find out. The aviation market is made up of 2 big players, Boeing and Airbus. And as well Embraer. But soon there may be a 3rd player who rivals the 2 friendly giants. COMAC stands for the Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China. Essentially, China's economy is snowballing so much that they need to ensure that they have their own aviation industry to keep up with demand. China plans to build an extra 200 airports over the next 15 years to cope with this relentless growth spurt. And only last year, Boeing's own commercial market outlook projection said that China would require 8,090 new passenger aircraft plus related aviation services over the next 20 years. A market that is worth $2.9 trillion. So honestly, why doesn't China take a chunk of that domestic market for themselves? Why give money to the West when you have scores of engineers and a chance to build a healthy local economy? After all, it worked for cars and trains. Planes are essentially the same. Well, kind of. But we'll get into that. So what are the aircraft that COMAC is planning to bring to the market? There is the ARJ-21, which stands for the Advanced Regional Jet. Nicknamed the Soaring Phoenix in the local language. Then there are the 3 brothers, the C919, the C929 and the C939. C standing for COMAC. 9 for forever. And the last 2 digits for how many tens of passengers each aircraft can carry. So let's break this down and start with the smallest of the 4. The ARJ-21. The ARJ had its first flight in 2008. But it took 7 years to be delivered to its first customers. 32 of these aircraft are currently flying across China and there are 208 reported orders. There are 2 versions, a 90-seater, 700 and 105-seater, 900. The base model only has a range of 1,200 nautical miles, which is the equivalent of the very first Boeing 737 from 1967. But there is an additional upgrade to boost it up to 2,000 nautical miles. While small as it's designed for regional travel in China, it doesn't actually require the distance. That is for the next in the series. Next up we have the C919, which is the equivalent to the Boeing 737 and the Airbus A320. Which are both the most popular aircraft ever built. There is only one version which can sit 168 passengers in OL Economy Lounge or 158 passengers with a business class. It has similar engines to the Boeing 737 MAX, which allow it to fly a range of 2,200 nautical miles. Again, there's an extended range version that can push this up to 3,000 nautical miles. And this aircraft is allegedly very popular with over 1,000 orders. Now just a quick side note. When I say orders for these aircraft, that needs to be taken with a grain of salt. As nearly all of these orders are from Chinese carriers who are owned by the government. Or they are nations in developing regions that have significant Chinese investment. Or they are from engine manufacturers who are providing the engines for the planes. So far, no Western airline has shown any interest in the COMAC aircraft. But we will get to that later. So far, 6 prototypes of the C919 have been built for flight testing, and it costs around $9 billion so far to produce them. Although again, other sources have sneakily suggested that the real cost is closer to $20 billion. Hey everyone, it's me, real life Nick from Found and Explained. Has anyone else watched this video and realized that they're actually using the Gladiator theme song, guess the one from the film from way back when? It's really strange to just hear that, you know, just taken and totally ripped off. I'm sure they didn't give permission. But anyway, back to the video. After the C919, we have the C929. Or the crack CR929. This aircraft has 2 names because it's actually a joint venture between COMAC and the Russian United Aircraft Corporation RUIC. This aircraft is an attempt to replicate the success of the Airbus A330 and the Boeing 787. This aircraft would fit up to 291 passengers with 2 classes. Or 440 passengers in a single seating class. Or it could even fit all of my current subscribers. So if you want to get on this Chinese plane with me, hit that subscribe button down below and I'll be sure to send you a ticket. Anyway, back to the plane. There will be 3 versions of this plane with regressively more seats, faultless range. Speaking of range, this plane will have a default range of 6,480 nautical miles or 12,000 kilometers. With the 2 partners believe that they will sell around 1,000 of these aircraft over the next 10 to 20 years for an investment of $13 to $20 billion. The most recent news from the camp is the progress has slowed down and the first delivery to customers has been pushed back to 2029. Whilst we don't know the real reasons, the head of the Russian effort admitted it was to do with international cooperation. So I'll let you read into that in your own time. Now for the last and most significant of these aircraft is the mysterious C939. Now very little was known about this aircraft. Or it will even be built in the age of Boeing 747 retirings and Airbus A380 production line shutting down. What we do know is that the C939 will seat over 400 passengers in a twin-engine twin-OL configuration. Much like the biggest 777X and the Airbus A350. It could even be expanded to the same size of the Boeing 747. Although at this point, many of those ideas may be irrelevant. Because outside of China, they may find few customers. Part of the reason why Chinese-made aircraft not popular is because of the engines. At the moment, China can't produce the same level of quality jet engines for all of these projects. So far, they have been working with GE, Rolls-Royce and others to power and make these planes fly. And it doesn't just stop with the engines. COMAC is also working with French designers to build the interior of these planes right down to the lavatories. Plus, if you're an airline and you've ordered this aircraft, how will you maintain them? China doesn't yet have a worldwide spanning maintenance and parts network that airlines can easily access. Unless you're on the border of the nation, it will be very expensive to operate these aircraft and likely you will suffer the same fate as Interjet as they did with their Russian-made regional jets. Lastly, each of these aircraft need to be certified in each country and region around the world. A very long process from an unproven company. And for a brand new plane type. These hurdles that will take them a long time to overcome. But will eventually overcome them. Those that have watched this video and have laughed about this attempt should remember that Boeing also once laughed at Airbus. And look at them now. If you enjoyed this exploration of the COMAC range and what to expect in the future, then check out my other videos about Soviet and Russian aircraft. Pop in, stay a while. Subscribe and enjoy all things never built. Thanks so much for watching.